Ahsoka Season 2 is just around the corner, so here's everything we know about it so far. Now, first off, let's talk about the basics. Release date, cast, all that good stuff. Just recently at the event D23, it was announced that Ahsoka Season 2 will premiere on Disney Plus on January 20th, 2027. From what we know of, this show will be the first major Star Wars project to release that year, making it an already pretty stacked year. In February, we got the 50th anniversary for A New Hope, which will be re-released in theaters and IMAX. Then in April, we got Star Wars Celebration. Then in May, we got Star Wars Starfighter. And also on top of that, it was just recently announced that we'll also be getting Season 2 of Maul Shadowlord that year as well. So yeah, it's a pretty big year for Star Wars. Now, let's dive into Ahsoka. Some major names returning are of course Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka herself. Then we have Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Eman Esfandi as Ezra Bridger, Lars Mikkelsen as Grand Admiral Thrawn, and a lot more familiar names. However, we'll also be getting some new characters and actors as well. Zeb, who appeared all throughout Star Wars Rebels and The Mandalorian and Grogu, will be showing up as well. And based on this shot here, he'll be reuniting with Ezra, which is pretty sweet. Then one of the biggest changes is the character of Baylan Skoll. Sadly, not long after his phenomenal performance, actor Ray Stevenson passed away. So to keep his legacy and his character going, the team decided to recast Baylan with actor Rory McCann, who, by the way, looks fantastic. Rory is most notably known for his role in Game of Thrones, and has done tons of other great projects as well. So yeah, it's a pretty stacked lineup, and I think the casting in this season is top tier. Now, let's actually dissect these characters and share everything we know about them in Season 2. Starting off with Ahsoka, the main character. The last we saw her, she was stuck on the planet Peridia alongside Sabine Wren in the last season. Thrawn was able to escape that planet along with Ezra, who snuck on board, and they returned to what we know as our galaxy. However, Ahsoka and Sabine, they're still on Peridia. Now they both have to deal with the consequences of everything that happened last season, and based on what we saw in the recent trailer, it seems like they're really exploring the world there. From what we learned in Season 1, there's some crazy mystical power that lies there on Peridia, so it seems like Ahsoka and Sabine spend a good time discovering it. Now, one thing that's notable is that now Ahsoka only has one lightsaber. Back in the Season 1 finale, Ahsoka's second saber got destroyed, so now she's only left with one. This will be interesting, because for ages we've always seen Ahsoka to wield two sabers, but we did kinda see her tap into using just one a few times in the last season. Whether or not she'll build a new one is up for debate, but for now, she's a single-bladed user. Now, also in the trailer, we learned that Ahsoka is having visions of war. Her and Sabine are far away from the main galaxy, and based on what we see, there's tons of conflict and space battles going on over there. Ahsoka clearly senses that, and so it should be an interesting dynamic to find out how she's able to help out. Right now, she's far away, so whether or not she'll be able to get involved and fight for the New Republic will be pretty interesting. Now, one thing also worth noting is that again, just purely based on the trailer, I feel like we're gonna get a lot of growth with her character. We already experienced so much growth in Ahsoka back in Season 1, and it looks like they're gonna expand on that in Season 2. At one point, we see Anakin speak to Ahsoka, and he talks about Baylan Skoll and also whether she considers herself a Jedi or not. Just based on that alone, I think we'll get a lot of soul searching with Ahsoka, and I think Anakin will play a big part in her life here. Which now moves on to our next character, Anakin. From what's been shown, Anakin appears to have a much larger role than he did in Season 1. He did show up at points last season, but just based on the trailer, it seems to be more now, which I'm all here for. I love Anakin. He's my favorite character, so I'm excited to see more of this different side to him. A wiser, more experienced Anakin, you know? One that experienced both the light and the dark side. Now, in the trailer, he does mention a few things. He tells Ahsoka that he's always by her side, he tells her that her current situation is a trial for her, and like I mentioned, he also tells her about Baylan Skoll's search for a mysterious power. Now, I won't get into many theories in this video since I want to keep it to facts and what we actually know, but I will say it is very interesting to see how involved he is as a Force ghost. He seems to guide her a lot, and I feel like he's going to play a very similar role to how Obi-Wan played for Luke throughout the original trilogy. Even right after Obi-Wan died, he guided Luke, and it became more and more as the movies went on. I feel like it'll be similar with Anakin here. Now, on top of Force Ghost Anakin, we also will be seeing Clone Wars Anakin. We saw a bit of him in Season 1, and now we'll be seeing more of him in Season 2. Now, I'm not sure the capacity we'll be seeing Clone Wars Anakin, but we can assume that it will be in the form of a memory or a flashback for Ahsoka, which is what it was in Season 1. Now, during this specific flashback scene here, it looks like a snowy, icy planet. Ahsoka is seen wearing a winter outfit, and Anakin as well. Now with Anakin's though, it is a very similar style jacket to his Clone Wars Season 1 look. They're different, but also similar in some capacities, so I thought that was interesting. In it, they seem to be fighting an enemy with a very unique double-bladed saber, and on top of it, it's teal-colored. We've only ever seen teal-colored sabers in both Legends and Jedi Survivor, so witnessing this in live action for the first time is pretty cool. Now, we still don't know who he is or where he came from, but from the vibe I'm getting, I feel like this might be a Dark Jedi of some sort. We'll see, but regardless, Anakin will be present in the scene. And now with both that and him as a Force Ghost, this really seems to emphasize that he'll have a bigger role this season. Personally, I'm hyped for it, and I can't wait to see what they cook up. Next up though, we got Sabine Wren. Now we kind of touched on this earlier, but she, along with Ahsoka, will also be stranded on Peridea as they explore the planet. However, there are some pretty big appearance changes with her. Most notably, her hair is a lot longer, hinting that maybe a good chunk of time has passed since season 1. Although we don't know the exact amount of time, that's the vibe I'm getting here. Also, her armor has some changes as well. First, she has a cloak wrapped around her shoulder, which I thought was cool. But also on top of that, the color of her armor changed as well. Across Rebels, she's always been known for being an artist and really making things colorful, so it seems she also made some modifications to her armor to fit that. In the trailer, we also see Sabine really tap into her different weapons too. We see her use her flamethrower at one point, her lightsaber, and overall her Mandalorian armor all to her advantage. In it, we see her fight up against some large droid-like creatures, so I get the sense that she and Ahsoka will be facing a lot of challenges and threats while on their journey. Next up though, we got Ezra Bridger, and this is one character in my opinion that I think will be taking a massive leap this season. Back in season 1, we only got to see Ezra for about 3 episodes, but now it seems like he's really leading the charge in season 2. Last we saw him, he was able to escape Peridea on Thrawn's Star Destroyer, and since then has reunited with Hera and the New Republic. Now, the last he's seen Hera and them was years ago. I mean, we're talking 9 to 10 years, so it'll be really cool to see his dynamic with the crew again. Based on the trailer, it also seems like he's gonna have a really significant role. He also looks to be flying an A-Wing here, so we get some naval action and overall just some cool action scenes it looks like. I'm really hyped to see his character develop this season. Oh, and fun fact, we actually had the chance to sit down with Ezra's actor, Eman Esfandi, recently. He was incredible to speak to, so if you want to check out our interview with him, I linked it right up here and also down in the description for you. Anyways, moving on, we also have Hera Syndulla and the New Republic. After appearing in season 1, Hera will return in season 2 along with Chopper, Zeb, and the New Republic. Now, similar to Ezra, I do think we'll see Hera lead the charge a bit here in season 2, just like the last season. As for the New Republic, they seem to be a lot more important in the story. Thrawn returning obviously creates a direct military threat to them, so they seem to be all out in forces against them. Ground battles, space battles, all of it looks like. In the trailer, we also see some notable ships as well. U-Wings, B-Wings, X-Wings, A-Wings, like we just spoke about. The whole alphabet really, and it's really cool to see. On top of that, we also see Hera and the New Republic aboard Admiral Ackbar's ship, the Home One. The Home One was seen in Return of the Jedi and in season 1 of Ahsoka, so I hope we see Ackbar himself in this season. This would give Thrawn a pretty good run for his money when it comes to military command, so that would be cool. Speaking of Thrawn, he is the main villain it looks like. Just like Ezra, we got to see him towards the second half of season 1, but now he's in full effect. He's back after his hiatus and it looks like he wants blood. As we saw last season, he returned back to the main galaxy with all his forces, and now he intends to wage war against the New Republic. Fun fact, in the trailer, he doesn't refer to them as the New Republic. He actually refers to them as the Rebel Alliance. I thought this was interesting because the vibe I get is that he refuses to acknowledge them as a form of government, just a small band of rebels. Anyways, Thrawn looks fantastic this season, and it will be very interesting to see him with his new army. We see him have Night Troopers, Night Sisters, and even Captain Enoch from last season. Enoch seems to have some solid action sequences as well, as we even see him hold the Blade of Talzin at one point. This blade was first seen in the Clone Wars and the last season of Ahsoka, so it'll be cool to see him in action with it. Also, based on this frame right here, the Great Mother seemed to be making a return too. So I think we'll be getting a lot of magic, sorcery, and overall a more mystical side to Star Wars. I feel like season 1 touched on that heavy, and from the looks of it, it'll carry on now in season 2. With all these fights though, a lot of it does seem to take place on the planet Dathomir. This of course is the home planet to the Night Sisters. We saw Thrawn arrive there last season, and now it seems like a lot of the conflict will take place there. Not just the ground fights though, but also the naval battles going up above the planet too. With that, it seems like both Dathomir and Peridea seem to be the main locations that we'll be seeing this season. Now, speaking of Peridea though, we gotta talk about Baylan Skoll. Like I mentioned earlier, he will now be played by actor Rory McCann, and we do get to see a first look at him in the trailer. He seems to be on a snowy mountain of some sort, and based on where we left off, it's probably somewhere on Peridea. In the finale of last season, we see him look out into the distance here at this spot right here. Clearly, it's some mystical power he's after, and so we can only assume he tries to find it now. Also in last season's finale, we see him stand above this statue here, who is a statue of the Father. For those that don't know, this is the father of the Mortis gods that were first seen in the Clone Wars animated show. Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan enter a realm in which they meet the father, but also his two children, the son and the daughter. The son embodied the dark side of the Force, the daughter embodied the light side of the Force, and the father was the balance between the two. Now we don't know what'll happen here, but that scene alone hints that whatever Baylan is after is connected to the Mortis family. The Mortis connection is clearly being emphasized visually, but the role it'll play still remains a mystery. Now, in that scene on the snowy mountain, we also see him reunite with his old Padawan, Shin. Shin was Baylan's apprentice in the last season, until he eventually abandoned her to go on his own path. But now it does seem that the two reunite. We also see Shin fight up against Hewing at one point, so I'm excited to see her and the role she'll play in this season. The last we saw her, she ignited her saber in front of the bandits on Peridea, hinting that maybe she's a part of their tribe now and going on her own journey with them. It should be interesting, but just like her, I think there's a ton of incredible character arcs that we will be getting this season. But with that, that's everything we know so far about Ahsoka Season 2. What are your predictions for the season? And what are you most excited for in Season 2? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.